Hello Year 9. Today's lesson we're looking at job hierarchy, specifically looking at the Kitchen Brigade and the Hospitality Brigade, which will all make hopefully a little bit more sense further on in the lesson. So carrying on from last week, being able to identify the hierarchy system for both front and back of house and know who reports to who. So that is how we're going to continue to show progress. Hopefully be able to start to state the skills and qualities different job roles require and give reasons for them. We probably won't get up to comparing and contrasting different job roles today. That will be something we'll carry on next week. So, just as a quick little starter, have a quick think. You don't need to write this one down, but what is this person's job and what responsibilities do they have? So pause the video now. Fantastic. So hopefully you have gone through what this person's job entails. So if you didn't already know, which I'm sure most of you did, that is a waiter. And their responsibilities are taking people's orders, serving them foods, drinks, and making sure that all of their needs are taken care of when they are visiting somewhere to eat. Okay, so it's split into a few different tasks, today's lesson. So there is a starter quiz on Microsoft Forms which you need to complete before you do anything else. So if you haven't done that already, if you can pause the video and go and do that one now. Once you've done the starter quiz, you just need to work your way through this PowerPoint. I'm going to talk through everything, but you can just pause it and read through it rather than listening to me read it out to you. There's a main task. Once you've gone through the PowerPoint, you're going to have a go at writing a job application for one of the job roles that you've learned about today. And then once that's all finished, there is another plenary quiz on Microsoft Forms just to see how you've progressed during the lesson. For the main task, you need to make sure that you are uploading this. Either take a photo of the work if you've done it on paper, or upload the document onto the Teams assignment so I can have a look at it. The starter quiz and plenary quiz will do this automatically. So the Hospitality Brigade, or front of house, starts with the general manager. They are in charge of the concierge, and the concierge kind of reports alongside security and the floor manager. The floor manager is in charge of the porter, so that's, if you went to a hotel, that's the person that might help take your bags up to your room for you. The concierge is in charge of the maid or housekeepers, bartenders and waiting staff, and then you also have security running alongside that as well. The general manager is in charge of the whole company and is responsible for whether it makes a profit. The manager needs to make sure each part of the company is working properly so that it is successful, and so ultimately they're the ones that make the rules up. The concierge, they make dining and other reservations for patrons, a little bit like a receptionist, and obtain tickets for events, provide information about local features such as shopping, dining, nightlife and recreational destinations, so maybe like a theme park for example. The floor manager supervises the porter staff and deal with any guest request issues related to luggage, access. They will also likely be the person that is there, kind of if you have to check in quite late at night, they're likely to be one of the people to do that in a smaller business. Security, they'll monitor CCTV and maintain security of staff and patrons. Again, you're more likely to get this in a larger kind of hotel or restaurant. A porter welcomes guests and carries their luggage and answers any kind of small queries they might have. The maid or housekeepers clean and prepare bedrooms, tidiness of general areas around hotel and do laundry services. So you know, you get on the doors in a hotel, it might tick what it wants what you want them to do today, whether you want them to change the bedding, give you new towels, empty your bins, or have none of them done. And that's all for the housekeeper. The waiting staff serve meals prepared in the hotel restaurant. They might deliver room service, and then kind of very closely linked to that you have the bartenders who prepare and serve beverages. In smaller hotels or establishments, the waiting staff and bar staff might be one and the same. They might be the same person. Oh, bear with me, it's frozen. So, the Kitchen Brigade is a similar kind of layout, and this is kind of the back of house staff. So you have the executive chef, then you have the chef de cuisine, then you have sous chef, and then you have all the different chef de partie. So saucier, rôtissier, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce all of those because they're all in French and my French pronunciation is not very good. And then underneath the commis chefs, underneath the sous chefs, sorry, you have the commis chefs, and then any kind of additional helpers, things like pot wash, etc., they will come under the commis chef as well. So the executive chef is an experienced chef who plays a largely supervisory role, managing the business aspects of the kitchen, so money, food orders, creating the menu, directing the staff. Executive chef and chef de cuisine roles may sometimes be interchangeable depending on the size of the restaurant. The executive chef is more of a figurehead whose day-to-day work likely involves a little active cooking. So if you went to, I don't know, a restaurant that was run by Gordon Ramsay, it's unlikely that he is actually there cooking. He would have the executive chef role, and so he would be kind of making all the behind the scenes kind of decisions without actually doing much of the cooking. The chef de cuisine is an active chef in charge of the entire kitchen and the kitchen team. In smaller restaurants, this person is the executive chef and has the same role as listed next to this one. In larger restaurants, the chef de cuisine reports to the executive chef, who is likely not in the kitchen every day, as we've just said. The sous chef is basically a management person. They verify invoices and handle ordering, but they're also there to support their teams when they need an extra pair of hands. So if the kitchen's very busy, if someone's off sick, for example, they make sure the stations are set up on time and that the kitchen is clean. Then there's someone called an aboyeur who communicates between the kitchen and front of house, checks dishes, makes sure the meal is placed properly, makes sure the food comes out at the right time. If someone changes their mind on something, they'll be the one that would communicate this. And then you have the chef de parties. They are a senior cook, and each is the head of a particular station which prepares specific dishes or types of cuisine. So for example, you might have a saucier, they'll be in charge of the sauces, all right? There are loads of different ones that will come under the chef de partie. They are essentially in charge of a section of the kitchen. And under them, you will have the commis chef. So they will work at a specific station under one of the chefs de parties, and they're responsible for the tools at their station and doing a fair chunk of the actual cooking. You might also have a student or an apprentice working, as well as a pot washer or a dishwasher. They're kind of the junior roles in the kitchen. There is a video which I've already bypassed because it took too long to load up, which goes through the kitchen brigade really, really nicely. The link is on the assignment, so I do suggest you watch that, and it's very, very clear and kind of allows you to kind of figure out in your head how things are spaced out and where people will be working. In terms of your tasks, or your main tasks, sorry, I want you to use the websites below, and I will put this PowerPoint or these links onto the assignment so they're easy to access. And use the template, which I will show you in a moment, and guidance to write a job application for at least one of the roles. If you've got the time, please do 2 or more applications. If you haven't, one is fine, but there does need to be at least 1 application completed. If you want to just Google, I don't know, commis chef job role, and find a commis chef job to apply for, that's absolutely fine. But these ones are just a little bit more guided if you want that extra bit of guidance. So for the job application, it needs to be written in full sentences, ideally using paragraphs. You can use bullet points where you feel they are appropriate, maybe listing qualifications, for example, but you don't have to. The information you're putting in, it can either be from your point of view, as in if you were applying for a job now, which is only really likely to be kind of a waiter or waitressing job, you can put in your current experience, or you can do it based on something that you've made up, the experience, I don't know, of Jamie Oliver, for example, all right, and he's applying for this job. So you need to write down why you want the job, why you would be good for the job, so what skills, qualities, qualifications do you have, any previous working experiences you have, and that might not be under employment, that might be any work you've done within school, any work you've done within a club as well, that can all be included. And then just try to use a minimum of 3 key words in your application which have been used in the job description. So you need to read the job description and pick out 3 key words to then try and use in your application. So for example, you might say, I'm a hard-working individual and this can be shown by what I have achieved in this club, for example. If that's a little bit too challenging, just using the written guidance, there is a template. Please only use this template if you're struggling, but if you are struggling, please do use it. And this is just a very, very basic template for a job application. Alright, so you've got your name, address, date of birth. By all means make those up, you don't need to put your actual ones in there. And then writing down why you would like to have this job, what have you done in the past that will help you to do this job, and what strengths or skills do you have to help you do this job well. Once you've done that, make sure you do the plenary quiz that is on there via Microsoft Forms, and then make sure that any work you have done for the main task is uploaded either as a picture or as a document, and that is you then finished. Thank you very much, Year 9.